What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Johnny K Picks. And in this video, I'll be going over my full card picks and predictions, along with any of the bets that I'm looking at so far for UFC Vegas 71 Pavlovich versus Blaydes. But first things first, guys, please hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you just haven't subscribed yet, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new videos or live streams that pop up throughout the week. So, UFC Kansas City, what a crazy fun card that was. Let's get to it. There was a lot of great finishes on there. For my picks, unfortunately, I'm having some troubles with my picks lately. I went 7-7 on the night, but for my bets, I'm doing pretty good. I ended up winning 4 out of 6 of my bets with winning plus 2.86 units profit. So we're back on track with the bets, but I'm like I said, my picks aren't really doing that great as of lately. But you know what? I'm gonna try to do a little bit better this time. I stepped it up a little bit. I hunkered down a little bit, so hopefully I can get a little bit better than 500. So let's quickly go over the fights for here because there, like I said, there was a ton of fun ones here. And what do you know? The first one to start this one off here is Jocelyn Edwards versus Lucy Pudilova. Everybody and their mothers knew and saw what everyone saw. Pudilova won that fight 29-28, maybe even a 30-27. I would say 29-28. Um, and Edwards ended up getting the split decision win. I do not understand how that happened. That might be the worst robbery. I don't say robbery too often, but that's pretty bad. And I'm going to say that is a robbery of 2023 as of now, probably my number one because there's just no way Edwards had a chance to win that fight. But it is what it is. Um, Edwards won, I guess. Bolaños versus Aaron Phillips. Bolaños looked good, very good striking. You could just see his takedown defense and ground game isn't the greatest. So Aaron Phillips was able to, go all 3 rounds, but it was Bolaños all day. He won unanimous decision. So good win from him. If he's going to fight somebody that's a really good grappler or wrestler, that's not taking a 3-year layoff, then I think he may lose that fight. But moving on up, Gomes versus Brazil. Wow, Gomes is a little pit bull. She had some power in her hands, and Brazil looked exactly like Daniel Zellhuber looked against Trey Ogden in his debut. Just gun shy, deer in the headlights, didn't want to throw her hands. Not sure why, because I don't know why Brazil would be like scared of Gomes takedowns or anything like that. But maybe she was scared of the power because she knocked her out. So good win from Gomes. And yeah, I had Brazil in that fight. I was really close to picking Gomes too, but it is what it is. Daniel Zellhuber versus Venata. Great comeback day or fight for Zellhuber. He looked way better. He still can improve. He's still very young, but at least he wasn't gun shy this time. The very first round, our guy Jason, he had that over 2.5, and he let that fight go in the first round as long as he wanted it to, and gave Venata or yeah, gave Lando all of the opportunity in the world to come back, and he did, and he showed some toughness in the second and third rounds, but Huber won that fight pretty clearly, and good win from him. Jillian versus Pereira Rodriguez, maybe a controversy, maybe not, but Jillian looked amazing down here in straw weight now. She was at flyweight. She was the bigger fighter. You could tell that her takedowns were easier, and she was able to control Pira a lot easier since she was the bigger fighter. So maybe this is the weight class for her. Maybe there's going to be a big turnaround. And I always knew, and a lot of people also did too. Jillian is a very, very good grappler, but she just never can get those takedowns. Well, this fight was completely different. Got that arm bar locked in. Maybe there wasn't a tap, maybe there was, but eventually I think Pereira would have tapped. So good win from Jillian. Hopefully she continues that little streak going. Zach Cummings versus Ed Herman. Ed Herman, I don't even understand why he was in this fight. But hey, it's a double retirement fight. It was kind of cool at the end, but Zach looked amazing all fight, and Ed had nothing. He was just trying to survive, and he just couldn't do it, unfortunately. So good win from Zach. Both guys are going to be gone. And yeah, it is what it is. Now the fights to where all of them just started happening that were crazy and good. Brandon Royval versus Mateus Nicolau. I was very high on Nicolau. I thought he was going to get this one done, even though I am a Royval fan. But Royval and that knee was just nasty, and you can never count this guy out. Never count this guy out. I learned my lesson, and yeah, very he's gonna. I think he may be next to fight, depending on who wins against Moreno and Pantoja. So look out for this guy. He's dangerous. Bill Algeo versus TJ Brown. Fun fight in the first round. Maybe you could have gave it to TJ Brown. He was landing a lot of good shots, and I was kind of getting worried with my bet because I was really high on Bill Algeo. And he came out in the second round, landed that little elbow that dropped TJ Brown and got the grappling going, and it was over. So good win from good win from Bill Algeo. Sorry, and I think he's a junkyard dog. He's not going to quit. He's tough, and I like that's what I like about him. So good win. Rafa Garcia versus Clay Guida. Good win from Rafa Garcia. Pretty much dominated the striking department for all 3 rounds, 30-27. No idea why Clay didn't want to shoot for takedowns. Not even attempt. Maybe I think he tried once or maybe twice, but yeah, just a weird thing. But maybe he just thought he couldn't get Rafa down for some reason, or maybe he wanted to test his striking. But after the second round, when you clearly lost those 2 rounds, you might want to go for some wrestling like he's known for. But good win from Rafa. Clay tried to do a little rope a dope there and surprise everybody with a retirement, but he didn't. I was gonna be mad if he did, to be honest. He still could hang with these guys. It's just unfortunate that that's just not his style of striking. He's not a greatest striker. So next fight, Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez. I was pretty high on Chris Gutierrez. I had him in a parlay. And yeah, after Chris Gutierrez got knocked down in the first round, he totally looked different, like a different fighter. So he was kind of scared. He only threw like one or two shots at a time, maybe two shots. And Pedro was the aggressor. He was looking like he was landing the better shots on the feet. So Pedro won that unanimous decision, 30-27. Maybe you could have gave Gutierrez one of those rounds, 2 or 3, but yeah, Pedro definitely won that fight. So Pedro's still in it. He's 36 years old, but man, he's really good still. So don't write him off either. Kutalaba versus Bozer. Um, I still can't trust Kutalaba, man. I mean, Bozer is just one of those guys where I think he's too slow in a way to be a light heavyweight. He doesn't have that explosiveness like Kutalaba does, and he's just too small to be a heavyweight. So unfortunately, he's in that range of fighters where there should be like a 225 range or weight class, and he'd be perfect in it. But good win from Kutalaba. I'm not gonna take anything away from him. I'm still not gonna trust this guy. And I know I'm not gonna trust Tanner Bozer in the light heavyweight division though. Osmat versus Jacoby. Weird game plan from Jacoby. Mirzakanov won pretty much rounds 1 and 2 clearly, and round 3, he was kinda slowing down and surviving. So, as what I know is Mirzakanov only has about 2 rounds of cardio, and the 3rd round, he doesn't have anything. So, it's something to think about when you fight someone next, whoever it's gonna be, and if that fighter is tough enough to last round 3 and he's have good cardio, look at that round 3 prop for his opponent. So, Jacoby just looked weird out there. He was getting rocked and yeah, just looked weird. I mean, I was this close to betting Jacoby money line at -150. I'm glad I didn't. Edson Barboza versus Billy Q. Another crazy knee in the first round that knocked out a fighter. Edson, I would really wanted to see it go to round 2. 'Cause I really think Billy Q still would have done normal Billy Q things and just out cardio him in rounds 2 and 3. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Barboza landed that knockout, and that's what he needed to do to win this fight. I didn't think he was going to win if it didn't get out in the first round. So good win from him, and he's wanting a ranked opponent next. So we'll see what happens. And the main event, Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. I personally would have gave it 48-47 to Max Holloway, but I don't blame anybody for saying 49-48, which that's what the majority was. And Max Holloway is Max Holloway. He's that fighter where he's gonna beat everybody but Volkanovski. Like just like Robert Whitaker and Izzy. Robert Whitaker is gonna beat everybody in the middleweight division except Izzy. That's just how it is. It's tier 1 champion, and then you have Holloway there. So good win from him. Arnold Allen looked good. I'm not gonna say he didn't. He was tough, and this Holloway's so good. He's so quick still. He has a granite chin still. And until I see him go down or you can tell that he's fading and he's slowing down, I'm never gonna bet against this guy. Or I'm sorry, unless he's gonna fight Volkanovski, then I will bet against Max Holloway. But like I said, very fun card this was. And for my bets, I'll show you these here. I had this one really bad parlay of Nicolau and Gutierrez. Thank God I put that on the same bet because I probably would have lost two instead of one. And then I had the Billy Q Edson Barboza fight to start round two. That didn't happen, obviously. And Algio Brown fight to go over 1.5. That didn't happen either. That was like a minute away from happening. So everything else was really good. 2.86 units right there. So, like I said, we're going to start our winning streak right now. We're at one and we're going to get back up to where we need to be. So let's get right to it to UFC Vegas 71. The only fight that kind of canceled recently, I don't know how recent, but it's the Carlos Candelario Rafael Estevam fight. I don't know if this fight's going to keep going or continue, or if Rafael's going to find someone else, but we'll see. But we'll go with the first one here. It's going to be Betgarel Danaa versus Brady Hiestand. Danaa is 12-4, 33 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. And Hiestand is 6-2, 23 years old, 5'8", with a 71-inch reach. So Danaa is a very explosive striker. He's got great power in his hands. He's got a very nasty left hook that he gets a lot of knockouts from. He throws a ton of volume. His striking defense is a little iffy. His takedown defense also is a little iffy, but he's very dangerous on the feet. And he's mainly a striker. He's not going to go for wrestling and takedowns or anything like that. Stand is a very solid wrestler and grappler with very good takedowns. Grappling is solid too. Striking is just okay. He can be hittable on the feet, but he's one of those guys where he's going to be shooting for takedowns whenever he can. He uses his striking to set up takedowns. He's pretty tough. He has been rocked a couple times on the feet though, but he's pretty tough. He has good cardio and he's hittable on the feet sometimes if it's just a striking fight. So this is going to be basically, if you think that this fight's gonna stay on the feet, you're gonna pick Danaa. If you think Stands gonna get those takedowns, you're gonna pick Stand. So I'm gonna go the Danaa route here. I just think his striking advantage is gonna be way more than the Stands wrestling and grappling advantage. Stand may be able to get a couple takedowns here and there, but I don't think he's gonna be able to do too much with them. And yeah, I actually think Danaa's gonna be able to get him out of there in the first round. I'm gonna say by knockout, probably one of those counter left hooks, and that's death touch, kind of like Alex Pereira's left hook. It's that dangerous in this division. So with my pick, gonna go with the first round knockout with Danaa getting that first round knockout. Bet wise though, it's pretty close to a pick 'em. I believe it's about 150 range, minus 150 for Danaa right now. I wouldn't mind the money line for him. Maybe I don't know about the over unders. It just depends. Both these, I mean, he stands not going to finish Danaa. I don't think. Then the only finish in this fight is going to be from Danaa. So maybe a Danaa knockout prop would be a cool or a nice bet to do. But I would say Danaa money line or maybe pass on this fight unless you like the dog. Next one we got is going to be Priscilla Cachoeira versus Karine Silva. Cachoeira is 12-4, 34 years old, 5'7", with a 65-inch reach. And Silva is 15-4, 29 years old, 5'5", with a 67-inch reach. So Cachoeira, we all know she's a powerful striker. She likes to push forward. Her nickname is Zombie Girl for a reason. She's very durable on the feet, but she's very hittable on the feet. And her takedown defense is not good whatsoever. Also, if she does get taken down, she's like a fish out of water on the mat. I don't think she knows what to do, to be honest. So that's something to really think about or look at in this fight. Unfortunately, she is fighting a very good grappler in Silva. She has amazing submissions. She's got good striking as well, good ground and pound. Her wrestling and takedowns are very good too. She likes to push forward and use her striking to set up takedowns too. She can be hittable on the feet, which that could be worrisome if she can't get those takedowns because Priscilla has that power to knock her out. But I think I'm going with Silva here. I'm very confident in her, actually. I think she can get those takedowns. And like I said, Cachoeira has been fought Jillian Robertson, who is a very good grappler, as we all know, and Karine is a very, very good grappler. She's very talented on the mat, and she's a killer. She all of her 15 wins have come by finish, and most of them have been in the first or second round. I think she has 8 submissions and 7 knockouts. I'm not, and some of them have been ground and pound knockouts. So she's been getting the fight to the mat and getting the finish. So the only little red flag with me though is if Silva can't get those takedowns. That's it. But I really think she will, and she's tough enough to maybe take 1 or 2 good punches to get the takedown, and I just think it just needs 1 takedown and it's gonna be over. So, with my pick, give me Silva to win. I'm gonna say submission first round. Um, Silva doesn't mess around. She goes in there and goes for the kill. So, I think that's what's gonna happen too. The bets, what I would look for is Silva money line, maybe as a parlay piece, submission, inside the distance prop for her. If you like Cachoeira, if you're on her side, definitely do the knockout prop. The unders in this fight, I think, are going to be amazing. I more than likely will be playing the under 2.5 in this for in a parlay. Hopefully, it's close to a pick 'em because I may load up on that. I just think one way or another, one of these girls are going to get a finish. Next fight is going to be a good one here. Francis Marshall versus William Gomis. Marshall is 7-0, 24 years old, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. And Gomis is 11-2, 25 years old, 6 foot with a 73-inch reach. Marshall is a well-rounded fighter. He's got solid striking with good power, good counters. He likes to push forward. He's got solid wrestling and grappling himself with good takedowns. Throws a lot of volume. He can be hittable at times on the feet, but he's tough and he's got good cardio. Gomis is a well-rounded fighter too. He is solid everywhere. He's got good striking, good grappling, good BJJ. The only thing with him, little red flag, if you want to say, is he's kind of low volume on the feet at times. Um, but other than that, like he's a solid guy too. And I think this is going to be a pretty fairly close fight. And I'm interested to see how this one plays out. But I'm gonna go with Marshall. I think he's just a little bit more well-rounded, if you want to say. I think his striking is a little better than, Williams. I think he throws more volume, so I always like to see that, and I also think his wrestling and takedowns are better than Williams, but William can survive on the mat, so it's not like there's gonna be a finish or anything from Marshall on the mat if he gets the takedowns, but, I think he can just dictate where, I think Marshall can just dictate where this fight takes place. If he wants it on the feet, he can make sure it's on the feet. If he wants it on the mat, he can get it on the mat. So, with my pick, I'm gonna say Marshall wins this one. I'm gonna say by decision. Bets wise, maybe look at Marshall money line. I think he's around this range right now. I like the overs in this fight. I don't believe Williams ever been finished. Oh, he's been submitted once. Okay. So he's a pretty durable guy. Marshall, I mean, he's undefeated, so he's never been finished. So yeah, I like the overs in this fight for another look at that too. So give me Marshall by decision. Next one, we got Mohammed Usman versus Junior Tafa. Usman is 8-2, 34 years old, 6'2", with a 79-inch reach. And Tafa, get this out of the way, is going to be 4-0, 26 years old, 6'3". And I'm not sure his reach. I would probably say it's around 78 inches if I had to guess. Just throwing that out there. So Usman, very powerful striker. He's pretty durable. He's not the most technical guy on the feet, but and he can be hittable, but as most heavyweights are, they have that one shot knockout power, and he's one of those guys. He could be losing the whole fight, and he can land that one knockout shot, and it'll be over. He's not really a wrestler or grappler, but he does have some wrestling and okay takedowns in his back pocket. And he also has a couple submissions in the career, so he's not like a fish out of water. He knows what to do on the mat, but I'm not sure if he's gonna um, use that or not in this fight. But Tafa also, he's a striker. He's making his UFC debut. He's a good kickboxer with good kicks, good power in his hands, very quick with his strikes. Let's see here. He's durable. His takedown defense isn't the greatest, so that's something to think about. Maybe if Usman's not doing well on the feet, he may go for some takedowns. But this is going to be a tricky fight. I do think Tafa is the better overall striker. But as I mentioned, Usman does only need like one shot to land that knockout, and he does have some ability to get some takedowns and use the grappling. So if he's in trouble, he can try for some takedowns. Um, I think the line right now is it's a little bit like different than 190. I think it's close to a pick 'em with Junior still being a slight favorite. This is a really close fight, so I can really see it go either way. I'm gonna lean Tafa here. I like his striking. He's more technical with his kickboxing. I just am a little worried that um Usman can land that like counter one shot knockout or maybe go for some takedowns. But I think if Usman goes for takedowns, he's gonna gas out a little bit, and it might not be a good idea for him. So with my pick, I'm gonna say Tafa does get the knockout here later in the fight, maybe late second round when Usman starts slowing down a bit, maybe even early third. For the bets, I would look at the unders, or if you're really confident in one way or another, you can do that. If anyone got an Usman plus 155 or better underdog bet, I think that's a solid bet because I think this is really a 50-50 fight. So I'm gonna lean Tafa to win by knockout, like I said. I think I'm probably gonna stay away from this fight. It's a lower level heavyweight fight, and we know how that usually goes. It can go either way. Next fight is gonna be Carol Hosa versus Norma Dumont. Hosa is 16 and 4, 28 years old, 5'5", with a 67.5-inch reach. Dumont is 8 and 2, 32 years old, 5'7", with a 67-inch reach. So Hosa is a pretty good striker. She doesn't have a lot of power though. She has some wrestling and grappling that she can use, but she's a primarily just a striker. She wants to keep this fight on the feet. She has good volume on the feet though, and but her little red flag is if she does get taken down, she can be controlled on the mat, and she just doesn't really have the greatest get up game. I'm sorry. Her takedown defense though is not bad, but she can be taken down. Dumont is a well-rounded fighter. We've seen in her last couple fights, she showed some wrestling and grappling, and she also showed that she has some good striking. She doesn't really have the greatest, power as well on the on in her hands, but she if she lands that, good straight right down the middle, she can, drop her opponents. Her takedowns are pretty good. She has a pretty decent clinch, and she can be low volume at times on the feet, but she has been mixing it up with her wrestling and the grappling as of late, like I said. So interesting fight. I do think both fighters are very similar, other than maybe the volume on the feet and Norma's wrestling and grappling slight advantage. I'm gonna go with Norma here. I like what I've seen from her as of late. Hosa beat Lena Landsberg, and it was a fairly close decision as it went to decision majority. Not a good look. She lost to Sarah McCann, who was getting those takedowns. Sarah McCann is not in the UFC anymore. And these other fighters, I mean, Jocelyn Edwards, we've seen her. She probably should have lost yesterday. And Norma Dumont, I mean, she's fought Daniel Wolf, not the greatest. She lost to Macy. She beat Aspen Land, not the greatest. Felicia Spence. So both these fighters haven't really fought the greatest competition. So I think this is a 50-50 fight. I think it's dog or pass if you want to bet it. I'm gonna not going by the lines here though. I'm gonna pick Norma Dumont by decision. I think she'll work in the wrestling and grappling and just win with control time and good ground and pound. And this fight's gonna go to decision one way or another. So looking at the bets, maybe if you like Norma as a underdog, you can get her at a pretty decent price. Overs for sure. Overs, overs, overs all day. Love the overs in this fight. Next one we got is Ronnie Yahya versus Montel Jackson. Yahya is 28, 10, and 1, 38 years old, 5'6", with a 68-inch reach. And Jackson is 12 and 2, 30 years old, 5'10", with a 75.5-inch reach. So Yahya is a very, very good grappler with very good submissions. He has very good top control when he gets those takedowns. Okay, like I said, okay wrestling and takedowns. His striking is lackluster to say the least. He's not a striker. He doesn't want to strike. He's going to try to get this fight to the mat, but he's pretty durable and he has solid cardio. Jackson's a well-rounded fighter. He's got solid wrestling and good striking with good power when he's on the feet. He's got good takedown defense. He can be a little low volume at times when he is on the feet. Um, I know in his last fight, who did he fight again? Julio Arce, it looked like he was just really, really low volume until he landed a couple good shots and put down Arce later in the fight. I know it went to decision, but I think Arce got dropped at least once in that fight. So that's the only little red flag with me. But other than that, like he's not going to have to worry about Yaya's power or anything like that on the feet. So to me, I think this is an easy pick, and I think the betting lines kind of show you it's an easy pick. I'm going with Jackson. I just think he's the better overall fighter here. As long as he doesn't get taken down and controlled on the mat, he should win this fight. Yaya's basically grappling or bust. And I think Montel's going to be with that range is going to be really hard for Yahya to get in close to get those takedowns. And Jackson's pretty good with his grappling and wrestling himself. So it's not like he's a fish out of water if he gets taken down. So I think he can either survive to the next round and get back on the feet or get up. So with my pick, I'm going to say Jackson wins. I'm actually going to say this is he wins by decision because, like I said, Yahya's pretty tough, and I don't know how this fight's going to really play out if it's gonna play out on the mat or if it's gonna play out on the feet. But either way, I'm going with Jackson. I'm gonna say by decision. Wouldn't be shocked if Jackson gets the knockout on the feet. Bet wise, you can put Jackson probably in your parlays if you want to. Over unders, I think it's kind of. I think the over is gonna be like a sneaky. If the over is plus money, I might look at that. Other than that, might just stay away overall. Jackson at minus 625 range isn't the greatest, but I think he's safe parlay piece. Next one is going to be Ricky Glenn versus Christos Giagos. Glenn is 22, 6 and 2, 34 years old, 6 foot with a 70.5 inch reach. And Giagos is 19 and 10, 33 years old, 5'10 with a 71.5 inch reach. So Glenn, he's a solid striker with okay power. He's got solid defensive grappling and takedown defense. He wants to keep this fight on the feet, but he's not a fish out of water if he gets taken down. He's got very good cardio. He's very durable. And Christos is a solid wrestler and grappler, pretty good takedowns. Striking isn't all the greatest. He can be hittable on the feet as well if he can't get those takedowns. And his chin is a little suspect. I know Moises rocked him. Armin Sarukian, that's no shame there. He got knocked out by him, and that was a close fight over there. So, as I said, I gotta go Glenn here. I mean, I think he's gonna get this one done. I think he's the better striker for sure. And as the fight goes on, I think Glenn will be able to take over. I don't want to say outpace Christos, but Christos needs to get those takedowns, and if he doesn't, he's gonna lose this fight. And I think Glenn's takedown defense is pretty good. It'll hold up. And I actually see a late finish for Glenn here. I think he's gonna maybe second round or maybe third round. He's gonna get the knockout on the feet. So with my pick, I'm gonna go with Glenn to get that knockout. Um, Christos has been finished 7 out of his 10 losses, and I believe 3 or 4 of them have been by knockout. So, bet wise, Glenn money line doesn't look too bad at minus 200. Maybe the unders here, or maybe the overs actually. But I'm just gonna say Ricky Glenn gets it done and later in the fight. Definitely not the first round, but I said that before, and look what happened last night. Next fight for the main card is going to be Jeremiah Wells versus Matt Selmesberger. Wells is 11 2 and 1, 36 years old, 5'9, 74 inch reach. Selmesberger is 11 and 4, 30 years old, 6'1, 75 inch reach. So Wells is an explosive striker with great power. He's got good wrestling and grappling, which we haven't really seen too much except in I believe it was the Blood Diamond fight, yeah, which that was a crazy way to start out that, fight, if you remember. He likes to push forward. He's not the most technical striker, but he's very, very dangerous and very quick with his strikes. Selmsberger's a solid striker with power. He has very good straights down the middle, especially his right hand. He has a really good straight down the middle that'll knock a lot of people out. He pushes forward. He can be hittable at times on the feet. His takedown defense is just okay, but I noticed in some of his fights he starts to slow down as the fight goes on. And he had a good win against Jake Matthews, a very good win. I was very high on Jake Matthews that fight, and he made Jake Matthews look like a fool. And then he lost to Alex Morono. So it's one of those guys where some nights he brings his A game, and some nights he might bring his C game. Because I really thought he should have beat Alex Morono, and like both guys I bet against, I just seem to like not get them correct. Except I know I bet on Wells against Blood Diamond for sure, and I will say that one of my worst bets was picking Court McGee over Wells. But anyways, this is going to be a very fun fight. But give me Wells here. I'm gonna say he wins this one by decision. Both guys are pretty durable. I can see some takedowns from both guys. I think the first round will be pretty chaotic, and if it gets out of the first round, I wouldn't be shocked if both these guys start slowing down a little bit, work for the wrestling takedowns, and work some grappling and getting some control time. I don't think this fight's gonna play out on the feet too much after the first round. So with my pick, I'm gonna say Wells wins by decision. I don't think he's gonna be able to get Matt out of there in the first round, and I think he'll go to his wrestling grappling game after that. For the bets, maybe look at the money lines here. Both guys, whoever you like here. Maybe look at the under. I'm gonna look at the over if it's set at 1.5. I'm gonna like that over 1.5, I think. But we'll see. Good fight here. Next one we got is gonna be um Islam or sorry, I think it's Jasmine as how you pronounce it. I'm not sure, but Lucindo versus Brogan Walker. Lucindo is 13 and 5, 21 years old, 5'3" with a 66-inch reach. Walker 7 and 3, 33 years old, 5'4" with a 67-inch reach. So Lucindo is a pretty well-rounded fighter actually. She showed in her last fight against Yasmin that she has very good striking, and Yasmin has very good striking. And but Lucinda, like I said, she's got solid striking, has some pop in her hands. Her grappling is pretty good as well. She's very tough, durable, and I was very impressed with her in her last fight. Walker, she's kind of well rounded as well. She's got okay striking with okay grappling. She can be hittable on the feet. Her takedown defense is not great. And I really think this is gonna a no-brainer for me, and I don't really like to say that for women's MMA fights. I think Lucindo's gonna win this fight. Anywhere this fight goes, I think Lucindo's better. She's more dangerous. Um, I know she's 21 years old, but she has more experience. And yeah, give me Lucindo. I'm not gonna really break it down any much more than that. I like her as a parlay piece. I think she gets the knockout in the second round. You can look at the unders here, but I think the only finish will come from Lucindo's side, so maybe look at, inside the distance for Lucindo as a bet. Lucindo as a parlay piece, like I said. Yeah, I think she gets it done. I'd be shocked if she loses. Next fight will be a fun one too. Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon. Bobby Green is 29, 14, and 1, 36 years old, 5'10 with a 71-inch reach. And Gordon is 19 and 6, 34 years old, 5'9 with a 68-inch reach. So Bobby Green's a very technical striker, very good boxing, great volume and cardio. Seems to get stronger as the fight goes on. He does have some wrestling he can use in his back pocket, but he likes to just stand on the feet and make it a boxing fight. He doesn't really use it that much. Gordon's a pretty well-rounded guy himself, solid wrestler with good takedowns. He got his striking is okay. He has a decent pop in his hands. Takedown defense isn't the greatest, and he kind of slows down as the fight goes on. Like in the third round, that's when you can tell he's a little like a little tired, starts slowing down. He's not himself really. But Bobby Green, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. I think he gets stronger. So I like Bobby Green in this fight a lot. I just think he's the better fighter. He's got the better striking for sure. I think he's got the better cardio. Um, Gordon's not really known to be a finisher. I mean, Bobby Green's not either. So um, I think this fight will go to decision one way or another. I think Bobby Green should win this fight 29-28 or even 30-27. So for my bets, Green money line I think is pretty safe. I don't believe it's a minus 285 anymore. I believe it's a little bit lower than that. And I like the overs in this fight. And yeah, give me Bobby Green to win this one by decision. Pretty good fight. All right, this is going to be the trickiest card or trickiest fight on the card here. Tavares versus Bruno Silva. Tavares is 19 and 7, 35 years old, 6'1, 74-inch reach. Silva, 22 and 8, 33 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach as well. Tavares is a solid striker. He's got some power in his hands. He can wrestle if need be, but he's mainly on the feet. Pretty good cardio, even though he's been knocked out a few times in his career, he can take some really big shots. And as you saw in his last fight against Dricus, I have no idea how he survived that one. I think it was a knee by Dricus du Plessis, and it was insane, and I thought he was going down, but this guy is pretty tough. Like I said, he's been knocked out 3 times in his career, but he's very, very tough. Silva's a very solid striker. He's got tons of power in his hands. Very durable as well. He's never been knocked out in his career. Where he gets in trouble is when he starts to fight grapplers who has good submissions, but that because I think out of his 8 losses, he's been submitted 6 times, so that's pretty bad. He did show some wrestling in the Pereira fight when he fought Pereira, so he does have that in his back pocket. I saw somewhere that he has a black belt in BJJ, so we haven't really seen it too much. He's like I said, he's more so a striker. So this is a very, very, very tough fight for me because I don't wanna really look at it from Silva's last fight and Tavares' last fight because they both lost, but I mean, Silva lost to GM3, and GM3 looked like it was the best fight of his career and maybe even the worst fight of Silva's career. And he lost by it was basically like club and sub, if you want to say, because GM3's striking looked great that night. And then Tavares, like I said, he looked pretty good against Dricus, and then you just couldn't really hang with him at the end and lost by decision. So both these guys are coming off losses. I keep this is what okay, this is what I keep going back to, and I'll say it right here. Silva has out of his 22 wins, he has 19 knockouts. He's been knocked out 0 times. I think this fight's gonna play out on the feet. Tavares is tough, like I said, but he's not really known to be a knockout guy. And I think Silva's gonna have a little bit better striking. He only has 5 knockouts out of his 19 wins, Tavares. So I'm gonna go with the dog here. I'm not confident whatsoever, but I think Silva can win this fight. And I wouldn't be shocked if this fight goes to decision, but I'm gonna say Silva gets the knockout in the second or third round after he lands a few very good like rights or counters right down the middle and just maybe drops Tavares a couple times. But Silva's got that power, that death touch, and he didn't really show it in his last fight, obviously, but maybe that was just one of those fights where it just wasn't his day. So, with my pick, give me Silva to win this one by knockout. Bets, you can look at Silva money line. He's an underdog. It's always a good bet. The over 1.5 could be a solid bet, depending on where the line is set. If it's at 2.5, maybe look at the under. If it's 1.5, look at the over, like I said. So, we'll see what happens throughout the week with that one, but should be a good one. Co-main event, Yudong Song versus Ricky Simone. Song is 19-7 and 1, 25 years old, 5'8", 67-inch reach. And Simone is 20 and 3, 30 years old, 5'6", with a 70-inch reach. So Song is a very good striker. He's got good power in his hand. He's very quick with his boxing. He's very quick on the feet as well. He can be hittable at times. He has solid takedown defense. He's not really known to be a wrestler or grappler, but he can do a little bit of that, but he's probably gonna wanna keep this fight on the feet if I was him. And Simone, well-rounded fighter. He's more so a wrestler and grappler, but he did show some solid striking in his last fight against, Jack Shore. Got good power in his hands. I wouldn't say his striking is maybe as technical as Song's, but he's definitely gonna have the wrestling and grappling advantage, and I would also give him maybe the cardio advantage, not to say that Song has bad cardio, but, Simone has that Marab, if you wanna say, wrestling cardio where he's gonna be spamming those takedowns if he wants to anyways, and he probably should in this fight. So, this is gonna be a very, very good fight. I'm really looking forward to this one. But for some weird reason, I'm confident that Simone's gonna get this one done. I think he can get those takedowns early and often and kind of wear down Song in the beginning rounds. And after that, I think, Simone's basically gonna just I don't wanna say out cardio Song, but, basically just out wrestle him and wear him down and win this one by decision or maybe even a late 3rd round submission. I wouldn't be shocked with that because he's very, very good submissions, Simona does. So, I'm gonna say Simone wins this one. Mm, you know what? I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go with Simone to win this one by submission in the 3rd round. I just talked myself into it when I said it. I think he does get it done in the 3rd round. For the bets, though, I know Simone is a slight favorite, so it wouldn't be a bad bet if you like it Song, not a bad bet either. I would look at the unders, but man, Simone's very tough. I don't think Song can get Simone out of there. I think Simone can get Song out of there with a submission only. I don't think it's gonna be by a knockout, though. So, pick Simone by submission late in the 3rd round. Yeah, I like that. Main event. This is gonna be a fun one for however long it lasts. Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes. Pavlovich is 17 and 1, 30 years old, 6'3 with an 84-inch reach. Blaydes 17 and 3, 32 years old, 6'4 with an 80-inch reach. So Pavlovich, powerful striker with tons of power, as everybody probably knows. He's pretty durable. Um, he likes to push forward. Sometimes he likes to, I don't want to say like, slowly plot forward, but he, like, plans his attack to the point where he waits for that opening to hit, and then he goes for it on the feet. Takedown defense isn't the best for a heavyweight, but not a lot of heavyweights wrestle, and unfortunately, he's gonna fight probably one of the better wrestlers in the UFC, especially in the heavyweight division. Um, yeah, and Blaydes is an amazing wrestler with great takedowns, very strong takedowns, solid striking with good power when he's on the feet. But against very strong, powerful guys that have good striking, his chin is a little suspect. And this is where the fight gets interesting to me. Basically, this fight's going to be one of two ways. It's going to be Pavlovich by knockout or Curtis Blades by knockout, probably ground and pound knockout. And I kept going back and forth with this one. The only thing I will say is for bets. I'm going to get to the bets before I get to my pick. Definitely wanna go unders here. I don't think this fight gets to round 3. I'd be shocked if it maybe even gets to round 2. So, what I'm a little scared of is if Curtis Blades doesn't shoot for takedowns early. Like, if he wants to try to strike with this guy. We've seen him been more so a striker as of late, and that's one thing that really worries me. So, I'm gonna ride not and I'm not saying that's the reason why I'm picking Plavovich, which I'm gonna be picking Plavovich. I just think he's gonna get it done. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Blades doesn't go for takedowns early, and that's gonna be his demise, and I think Pavlovich will find that one opportunity early on and maybe rock Blades, and then it's gonna be over from there. But I wouldn't be shocked one bit if Blades gets a takedown early and gets it done too. So, with my pick, give me Pavlovich to win. I'm gonna say first round knockout. Um, Yeah. Bets, if you like Pavlovich, and I know he's the underdog, just wait for the KO prop to hit. He's not going to win a decision. He's not going to win a submission. Just get the KO prop to get a little extra juice on that. Blades, if you like Blades, honestly, wait for the KO prop or inside the distance. He's not gonna get a money line. Not money line. I'm sorry. He's not gonna get a decision win. There's no way this fight's gonna go 5 rounds. I'd be shocked if it even gets to the round three. So just wait on your bets. Don't bet this fight until the props come out. Whatever side you're on here. Definitely look at the unders, like I said. So it's gonna be a good fight. Get out of here, little thing. All right, guys. Those were my picks and predictions for UFC Vegas 71. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Leave some comments down below on your favorite fight, on your picks, on your bets, who you like. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the fights this weekend. I think this is going to be a pretty solid card as well. It's not going to be as great as Kansas City, but We all can't have great cards like that. So, like I said, hope everybody enjoys the fights, and until next time, happy fight